The US Secretary of State Antony Blinken says that the war in Gaza will go on after Hamas proposed numerous changes to the American-backed ceasefire plan. Blinken said the US and other mediators will continue trying to achieve an end to the fighting.
Last night, we received a response. Hamas has proposed numerous changes to the proposal that was on the table. We discussed those changes last night with Egyptian colleagues and today with the Prime Minister. Some of the changes are workable, some are not. In the days ahead, we are going to continue to push on an urgent basis with our partners, with Qatar, with Egypt, to try to close this deal.
Let's bring in our Middle East correspondent, Ali Starbuncle, for more on this. Ali, great to have you with us. So look, Blinken said it there. Which changes are not workable, do we think?
Well, I think where there is still a major sticking point between the two sides, between Israel and Hamas, is at what point does the ceasefire become permanent? And Hamas have always stuck to their position that there would be no deal that they would agree to unless there was a commitment for the ceasefire to be permanent from the outset. Israel has always refused to countenance that, always insisted that it retains the right to keep fighting Hamas until, quote, total victory, and has said that they will not agree to a complete ceasefire and withdrawal of its forces from Gaza before a ceasefire takes place. And so that gap has never been bridged between the two sides, and from what we can see at the moment, that gap remains. And so it's going to take compromise from one of the parties, and if not compromise, then frankly there is not a deal to be done. And perhaps that's the situation we're in. I mean, the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, was hinting at that. He is putting the blame at Hamas's door, saying that everybody has basically signed up to this proposal. I'm not entirely sure that's true, incidentally. I think there is some disquiet within the Israeli cabinet about this proposal, certainly from the far right. Anyway, he is blaming Hamas for constantly coming back with new demands and suggesting that perhaps actually the reason they're doing it is because they want to keep fighting. And maybe that is, quite frankly, after many rounds of negotiations and talks, maybe that's the ultimate outcome. However, Blinken is in the region. He is seeing the key stakeholders in this, the Qataris, the Egyptians. He's been here in Israel over the last 24 hours, and there'll be a push to try and bring the two sides closer together, and we'll see whether or not that gap can be bridged.
Indeed, they say they keep talking, Ali, as you say, but that is the fundamental issue, when that ceasefire begins. And Alistair, just talk us through what we've seen in the region as well today, with air raid sirens going off in northern Israel and rockets being fired in from Lebanon.
So last night, the Israelis killed Hezbollah commander called Abu Talib Abdullah, who is the most senior Hezbollah commander killed to date during this conflict since October the 7th. That then sparked a reaction from Hezbollah, which has seen in excess of 170 missiles and drones being fired out of southern Lebanon into Israel today. Now, a lot of those are intercepted. Some of them have fallen in open ground and caused small fires. They seem to be under control. I'm not aware, I haven't heard of any casualties as a result of that. But that's a big barrage coming out of southern Lebanon. And we have seen over recent weeks the intensity of fire coming from Hezbollah has really increased over the months. Now, the general view is that if you achieve a ceasefire in Gaza, then it removes a reason for Hezbollah to keep trying to fight Israel. Hezbollah will calm down and the whole northern border will calm down, and that might give space for diplomacy. But if you're unable to achieve a truce in Gaza, then the northern border continues to get more volatile, and the Israelis say there'll come a point where they have to make a decision. What do they do? How do they get security back? How do they return their citizens? Around 80,000 displaced. And many people in Israeli society are saying, you've got to invade southern Lebanon. That's not what the international community wants, but perhaps it's also heading that way.
Right, Alistair in Jerusalem for now. Really appreciate that update. Thank you.